Good morning, everyone. Special thanks to the association for giving me this opportunity, and a super special thanks to Jerry for being persistent in reaching out to us to try and understand a little bit of the little work that we are doing at Belgaum. Just so that I establish a connect with the organization, I would like to, in a sense, dedicate this effort to what I studied at St. Paul's Belgaum. And I cannot miss mentioning Father Agnello Pinto, who taught us moral science for a lot many years, and he taught the same things so many times that somehow they are deeply ingrained in mind. So, to the memory of Father Agnello Pinto, I would like to present the work of the Green Savious Association. So we started work back in 2016. 2015 monsoons had been dry, so there was a water scarcity in 2016 in April, and the price of a water tanker in Belgaum was 800 rupees, something that was never heard of. I was walking one day in the morning and I said, what if it does not rain this year? The scenario was quite unthinkable. So then, what should we do to make it rain again? And somewhere back in school, I remember people mentioning that if you plant trees, it rains. So it started off with a very small idea where we started planting trees on 10th of April 2016. So there were about 25 of us and we planted 25 trees and we were acting as if we had conquered the world. So since then we started planting trees, and one of the members said, let's plant every Sunday. So that became a mantra. And since the 10th of April 2016, we have worked for over 280 consecutive Sundays without a break. So even through COVID, when there was a ban on working on Sundays, we used to work near our households, harvesting saplings from roadside. So we have been at it for over 280 Sundays without a break. Okay, so if there is one thing that we are proud of, we are proud of the fact that we have been working consistently for this long. How much we have achieved is a secondary factor, but in the whole ecological restoration and environmental issues, consistency is the key, and I'm happy that we have been able to achieve that. So by December 2016, I sat to count and I realized that we had planted around 1,500 trees. And then I compared it and I said, this is not even 1/10 of the number of trees that have been chopped down in Belgaum city itself in that much time. So how do we scale up? So we scaled up by moving to the next phase, which is forest making. So we adopted the method created by the Japanese ecobiologist Akira Miyawaki, and we started doing what is really popular now, the Miyawaki method of planting. So in the Miyawaki method, there's no rocket science here, okay? There are lots of consultants who will tell you, who will quote exorbitant prices for it, but it's nature just taking care of itself. So instead of normally when we plant trees about 10 feet away from each other. Because in our mind the picture of a tree is a trunk and then the canopy. So that's what comes in our books. But if you go to a forest, there is no canopy. No tree has an individual canopy. All the trees together form a collective canopy, and that canopy, in each canopy a tree has its swimming space, which depends on the species. So we started doing the Miyawaki method. That's when we started getting people on board. This photograph that you see is of the plantation of 3,300 trees, which was done in a span of 4 hours. We did much better subsequently in 2019 when we planted 5,000 trees in 2 hours with 850 volunteers using the same method. So now that is, can you go back? Yeah, we planted trees, we watered them for a span of about 2 years, and then it's a self-sustaining forest. And trust me, there is no greater feeling in the world than going into a forest that you have created in the month of summer and realizing that inside it is about 6 to 7 degrees cooler than it is outside. Plus, you have all the little animals that have made that their home. I was super scared of snakes till I created my own forests and went into the forest and saw some snakes slithering around. So we were really happy that we were able to provide them a home. They come to city spaces primarily because they don't have other spaces where they can live safely. We have taken away their habitats and then complain when they come over to our areas. That's the big problem. So this is something that we have done. We have created 14 mini forests. We are commencing work on another forest of 5,500 trees at Belgavi Airport. The work is on as of now. This is how lush green the landscape becomes in just 2 years. And after that, you don't have to do anything about it. It's all self-sustaining. Next one. So, this is our team. We have people from the ages of 5 to 75. Everyone comes on a Sunday. They do whatever work they can. The seniors just walk around and provide threads that can be tied to the bamboo props. They give people biscuits to eat while the planting work is going on. So everybody works according to their capacity. But what is most important is that everybody comes on a Sunday. And we start work at 6:30 in the morning. So we talk to people and they say Sunday is the only day that we have, for our families especially. These are around 40, 45, 50 people who come every Sunday without any excuse. And we work even on festival days. So there is nothing like a Diwali or any other festival for that matter where we take a holiday. If it's a festival, we are celebrating it on the field. So that's what we have been doing consistently. Next. In January 2021, I shifted from a formal employment into Grain Savious full time at the ripe age of 49. So I have made this jump and right now I am working full time for this Grain Savious work. We've started a project that we call OMG. OMG is because it sounds nice and exciting for the new generation. So this is essentially a project is to be completed by 2025. So this is the first phase. Sounds nice, sounds exciting. I have been working on ground for about a year and it's tough. But we have managed to come out with a few positives. So one of the things that we have done is we have surveyed the Western Ghats, and the Western Ghats are full of fragmented forests now. Because of our road constructions and agriculture, pristine forest spaces are now fragmented. There is a lot of degradation. So according to me, there is about 1,000 acres of barren land in the Western Ghats region in between Belgavi and Chorla. At least 1,000 acres. Completely barren where nothing grows. We have studied why it is barren and I can enlighten you on that at some later point. But just to raise an awareness, we are trying to partner with the locals to understand the landscapes. And planting trees in a city is easy. Planting trees in the plains is easy. Planting trees in the Western Ghats is extremely difficult because the Ghat soil just doesn't hold water. That's the biggest challenge. So at one point in time during the year, during the months of June to let's say September, there is around 250 inches of rain. And at other points in time, there is no water to rain. So we have to play between these to try and understand how best we can get our planting practices to adapt to these variations so that the trees survive. Next one. One more project we have started is what is called as syntropic agroforestry. And syntropic agroforestry is being used by a lot of ecologists across the world to restore ecosystems. Now this is primarily because it combines human welfare with ecological welfare. So we have in it benefits for the farmers. The yields in the farms in the Western Ghats are extremely If we are able to bring in syntropic systems, the yields will definitely improve. So we have shifted focus from planting trees to planting forests to syntropic farming. And we are ready to take it the next notch, whereby we set up syntropic agroforestry plots for the farmers. We take their produce, we sell it in the urban areas, and the entire money goes back to the farmers. So this is sort of a socio-economic and ecological restoration. Because if we want to restore the Western Ghats, we need to keep people in the Western Ghats. And as the present trend goes, everybody is either moving to Goa or moving to Belgaum. If you go to a village, you will only see the elderly and children in the village. The youngsters have all migrated because there is no source for their subsistence. So we are trying to correct this in a big way. And this practice will start somewhere in the month of February. Everything that they produce naturally grown in consultation with us, we are providing them the planting material, we are taking back the produce and giving back all the money. So this in a sense is community forests, and that's what we are trying to achieve. We've also started work on creating, you've seen these biodiversity parks. I saw one while coming into Goa. There are a couple on the route in Khanapur also. But they don't really understand the concept of being a biodiversity park. We are trying to design a biodiversity park that is based on the Western Ghats of India. So we are trying to identify around 300 to 400 species of the Western Ghats and give them a home and construct stories around them. So that's a part of what we are trying to do. So from Green Saviors, we moved to something called as Sacred Grove, and from there we have moved to something which is the tagline, which is Humans for Planet Earth. So over a period in time, we have learned to believe that more important than just our restoration practices is building awareness about ecological issues amongst public at large. So we conducted this session where we had a resource person from the deep Amazonian forest, the first resource person. He doesn't understand English, so he was speaking in his native language. So we had Claudia with us, who was translating, and we had Mariana, who has studied the Amazon forest, and I was telling Baba in the morning, she only seconded the discovery that I had made, which is that the Amazon is a man-made forest. The Amazon rainforest is not a natural structure, it is a man-made forest. Which only proves that if we put our mind to it, we will be able to do it. This was done across, I think, around 3,000 years. But if we put our mind to it, we can do it. We can create the entire Amazon rainforest just like they are destroying it now. The question is, how do we get people to put their mind to it? That's something that we are trying to explore as of now. So Humans for Planet Earth is something that we are looking to extend. So we conducted separate sessions. One, permaculture as a tool for restoration. And the last session that we have is one with Jacqueline Fletcher, who specializes in eco-literacy. We had it on World Soil Day. And the title was beautiful. The Earth is Singing. And she asked at the end, do you want to join the choir? So, ever since I met Jacqueline, my way of looking at the planet has changed. And I wish that more and more people get this opportunity to really connect to the roots, to really connect to the soil. Because understanding the soil is understanding planet Earth. And honestly, we don't understand it at all. So nowadays I am a super bored companion. Ecology and restoration and soil is the only thing that I talk about. So nobody invites me to parties. Why would they? So my idea of fun has changed to working with trees. My idea of work has shifted my office from the city of Belgavi to the Western Ghats. So when I say I'm going to work, I'm going to Zapoti or Kantubi or some such place. But at the age of 50, I think that is the best decision that I have made in my life. the planet, for other people, and in the process for yourself. Because at the end of it, I think the greatest joy is the joy when you see the smile on the face of somebody else. I think working on ecology, ecosystems and farmers at the grassroots gives us this opportunity to connect with people and connect with the planet as a whole. Thank you everyone. If you have any questions, we can have a two-pronged approach. We are setting up eco-literacy module, which is quite different from the existing modules that talk of the environment. So it's a more holistic way of looking at ecosystems. This eco-literacy module can be implemented in the schools as a hobby project, or at least for some of the students who have that spark. And like Green Savious started, we can start by planting 10 trees every Sunday and slowly evolve to other modes of restoration. So we could start small. When we started Green Saviors, we never knew that it would pick up a decent size. But now after about 5 years, it looks like, I mean, you invited me here, right? So I guess it works. So maybe this can be, translated into small initiatives across schools, and we can coordinate, guide, and because it's not important just to plant trees. It's important to know what to plant, why to plant, when to plant, and where to plant. Unless we know all these, there's just no point in going and planting the tree for the sake of it. I've had people planting Lakshmi Taru in a pot. Okay, Lakshmi Taru in a pot, Lakshmi Taru Simaruba anti-cancerous properties, but just for a Vanamotsava you put it in a plot, in a pot, it just stays this much. The fishtail palm, if you plant it in a pot, it grows this much. If you plant it in a ghats, travel the ghats, you will say it's about 50 feet, 70 feet. So they need their space. Let's not give them one size. So it's important to understand where, how and when of it. And we can teach this to people. And one of the most important things to do is to teach people to have questions about ecosystems, because nobody even questions what's going on. One small suggestion, humble request, I don't know if I'm transgressing, but one of the things that I always do, whenever you have programs and you are felicitating the guests, please give saplings instead of bouquets. They cost a lot lesser and have a better feeling and a better impact, because the memory stays alive for a longer time. Just a small request. Yes. Some question. Yeah.
How do you implement something in the urban area? What is your success story in the urban area? Because considering the space and there's no forest left, especially in Bombay, we look at Bombay. Bombay is now become a concrete jungle. How do we implement a program like this over here? What is your success story?
Yeah, I get it. We face the same problem in Gurgaon. When you are counting land by square inches, square feet, in Bombay it will be square millimeters. Okay, it's really difficult for people to give us land. But trust me, schools still have spaces. Quite a few of them do. If we can educate them about taking off the pavers that they have put in, because that's a very wrong thing done across institutions and households, we can still create enough spaces. Plus, institutional compounds have spaces. So we could target industry compounds, we could target school compounds, government office compounds. Huge sprawling spaces where a lot of planting can be done. So we sort of, even in Belgaum, we just managed to squeeze a few spaces in, here and there. But the larger work slowly will have to move out towards the fringe areas, because that's where the real opportunities lie. And people are oblivious to the fact that people here, most of you would remember, the Arabians you remember, my dad used to tell me the Aryan Sea never has cyclones because it is not as landlocked as the Bay of Bengal. And over the past decade, cyclones have become frequent in the Arabian Sea and they only get more intense. They are being driven by the fact that we are degrading landscape across the Ghats here and all other regions around. When the land surfaces heat up, the ocean currents change and cyclones are created. So if not for the planet, at least for humans, to protect ourselves from cyclones, we could and we should pick up these initiatives. But it's tough, but it can be done. Belgaum is all concrete everywhere. Really tough.
One question, how do you source these large number of saplings and young plants for plantation?
We used to source them from the forest department, but the thing is that they still don't accept us because we don't follow their rules. They have a rule book which was written way back in the 60s and they still follow the same rule book. We buy saplings from them, we store them in our nursery, we nurture them till we get a planting opportunity. And they don't give us the saplings that we need. They have a fixed list of saplings that again comes from Delhi and those are the ones that they cultivate, that they propagate. So we are setting up sapling nurseries in around 24 villages in the Western Ghats. The seed forming season begins now at the end of December. So we should be able to start our work in January. So we'll be having our own sapling stock nurseries across villages in the Ghats. But it's important, we just have to find a way. Nobody really helps us. But there are organizations that are growing saplings and distributing for free, especially in the Western Ghats region. And I guess the organization has institutions across the Ghats itself. So that's a good thing. I can put you across to them. live out the first monsoon. Because that's the one that is crucial. because the new plants just don't get enough time to establish. Once the roots are established, then there is no problem. So the forest department again tells a different story. From our experience, I would rather plant in February, water it for 3 months and be happy that it will survive the monsoon. Yeah, and teak has been promoted as a monoculture. Nothing in nature is a monoculture. You go to the Konkan area, they have cleared out mountains and planted Alfonso. That explains why we had that disaster. So if you have a mountain that has been cleared of all its vegetation and there is a downpour, the whole mountain will come onto the village. There is just nothing holding it there. The Western Ghats are supposed to be a stable space. The Himalayas are the delicate ones. Western Ghats should not have landslides. If they are happening, we have done something wrong. And monoculture is one of the worst things that was introduced. And teak is a horrible thing for the ecosystem. If you go to a teak plantation, there is no life there. You don't see that usual buzz of insects and chirping of birds in a teak wood plantation. You don't. But then we are always looking for what will man make out of it. That's the whole game. Now they are doing cashew instead of teak. So every 4 or 5 years they have a new way, which comes out of limited understanding.
Thank you, sir.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Since you are promoting this, why don't you promote it to the government itself when they give you the wrong streets and all? What's happening?
I had that in mind, and we also realized that that would be something that will help us have the maximum impact. There are 2 factors to this. One, we need to be a large enough organization to be considered worthwhile in taking recommendations. Second, we should have enough projects on ground as proof for what we are trying to sell to them. But we are in the process of building a partnership with the education department right now for promoting it across schools in the Belgaum district. And I am in the process of discussions with the horticulture department to try and convince them about syntropic agroforestry, and that it works. As a matter of fact, they have given me 1 acre of land in their farm to try out syntropic agroforestry. If we are able to prove it there, then it can influence policy. So that's something that's on. The project will start in the month of February. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask me sometime later today.